Welcome back, our guests and followers, viewers, friends, fathers, and of course, students, into the second episode of FlyIAA on air. Today's episode is a bit different. There is a lot of names for the person that I'm having today, and to simplify it, it goes back to the business has a brain, and without this body, it cannot be actually executed. The execution master, the execution magician, and normally in the daytime he's my boss, but today he's my guest. Okay, please welcome Frederico Fernandez.
Thank you very much. I liked it very much with the magician part. Very good. Thank you for the compliments.
Because I believe that you are a magician.
Yeah. I'm not. But we will during this conversation. I will give you some hints of how can we do this and together, because we are a team. We do it together. It's my pleasure to be here. First, of course, because of FlyIAA, because of this red color that I bring very close to my blood and my heart, and a pleasure to be with you, because I don't do this often. Many years ago, and until very short time, I was supposed to be the one on that side making the questions. So it's much more easier to be there and make the questions.
To make the questions?
Than to be here and to be exposed, especially with a professional like you that will be able to push me some things that maybe I never told it publicly. So it's quite interesting and challenging.
It is, and I really appreciate the fact that you came to this podcast. I know that it was already told to you before that we are going to do it, but we haven't even shared any questions. But the podcast is very simple. First of all, we will take all the C-level executive positions away.
Okay.
And I want to know who's Frederico Fernandez.
Very good. Very good. Is that, let's start?
Yeah, which is, it makes a name.
Yeah.
So I had the question to me once, and it changed completely the way that I'm thinking. Tell me about yourself without telling me about your position and your name.
Yeah, very good. That's a very good question. I'm an islander boy that was born in a beautiful island and peaceful island and striving island in the middle of the Atlantic. Not always striving. I still remember people or generations of my family that they were not striving. They were poor in the sense of possessions, but not poor on the sense of love and family, because this was always been around us for many times. We are Latins. I came from Madeira, and this is where I was born. I was very lucky to be born there and have my roots there.
The famous Madeira.
Yes. So I'm an island boy, born on an island in the middle of the Atlantic that was open to the world since the 16th century. And this gives us Madeirians, Portuguese Madeirians, an openness to the world that is very difficult to find. And in Portugal, now Portugal is a very touristic destination and everybody is very much, but Madeira had that. So we started to receive kings and queens since a very, very long time. And the traffic that we had there since the beginning of the discovery of Madeira was very international. And if you see Madeirians, we have a mixed gen. So Frederico is a guy born in an island, living in Dubai.
How did that, with all of this story, and you are very proud of when you are speaking about Madeira, how did that affect Frederico in growing up?
Yeah, affected because opposite to the mainland, we only have a small difference. I think that is very common to all islanders, is that if we don't do things by ourselves, nobody will come and rescue us, because we look around in Madeira, it's only sea. So if you don't work, if you don't cultivate your things, if you don't make for your life, for your family, nobody will come in your rescue. So this is very common. I started to see this in all the islanders, in Crete, in Cyprus. We have the spirit, we have this resilience. And this definitely changed me comparing to other people. And I think that the second best Madeirian after me will most recognize is Ronaldo. So Ronaldo has the same thing also, and everybody in Madeira, and we, of course, we know how to receive people because we were one of the first destination tourism in the world many centuries ago.
So basically, living in an island led you to have this idea that you need to do everything by yourself, otherwise you will starve.
Yes, we need to work. And I remember being young and the unions in Portugal trying to do things, and we also had a great leader like UE has. We had the great leader that stayed there for 38 years, and I remember people were discussing the guys in mainland are doing strikes, but everybody will still keep working in Madeira, and that has to do with that spirit. And we drink that from our family, our ancestors. From my latest generation before me, we come from my father comes from a family that is wealthy, and my mother comes from a family that is not wealthy, but both of them have the same spirit, working hard, and you need to do it by yourself, or else nobody will come and save you. Nevertheless, we still have those, and this is important because this is what changed me and released me from the protective aura of Latin families. That is exactly the same, and I feel that there is a commonality here of Arabic culture. The mother, the family core and nucleus is very important. So
Portuguese are very family oriented.
yeah, yes, and we believe that that tradition may come also from the living with other people, and we are very influenced by the Arabic culture. Very influenced. We teach us the numbers. We quit Roman numbers because of the Arabic trading. We do a lot of trading with the Arabic people, and in our country we do have a tradition of things. We learn not to do olive oil with you guys, so I don't want to go further because everybody in Portugal will be, this guy, but I feel that now that I live in an Arabic country, I see so many similarities between the cultures, and there's so many things I understand now that most likely we'll learn with you. And this family value culture, 100% south of Europe, in some way, have to do something with that, these things as we share, on our own culture, but also as that. I remember once, for you to have a difference, there is a big difference between North of Europe and South of Europe. I was speaking with a colleague, and that he was doing exactly the same thing as what I was doing at the time, same position, management position, everything, but most likely he was winning 6 times more than me. And we met, and this story is funny because we met on the event in Mipim in Cannes where they were announcing Burj Khalifa.
Oh,
yeah,
wow,
yes, I think it was 2001. So many years ago. And I was talking to him, and he was doing the right thing, the same thing, so different companies, different countries. And I said, "Oh man, you're lucky because you win 4 times more than me." And I say, "Yeah, you're poor, but I'm miserable." And I ask, "Why do you say that?" "Oh, because I don't want to say the country. I'm North Europe. I'm so passionate about the Southern Europeans because the family and everything. Us, we just have our family name. We don't have the same thing as you have. So if I get no money, I'm miserable. Nobody will open the door. You guys, you are poor, but everybody opened the doors, and it's a party. Even if I'm poor, I don't have anything to eat. It's a party because somebody will give me food, and my family, my cousins, my aunt. It doesn't matter. So that was important for us, and it still belongs to my being, let's say.
That's a motive. To have a family, it's a motive, but it's in the same time, it's a challenge. So allow me to understand, with this kind of drive-in motor, which is the family-oriented, that you need to prove yourself to them, and then the islander boy that needs to always work to make a living, what did you start with?
I started. I need to think because things happen so fast in my life that I never had a chance to think, because I mentor people sometimes, and I see so many people under me doing things, and I need to think. So why did it all started with you? Because we were speaking about this culture because my grandmother said she wanted always to protect me and my mother, and she said, either you need to be a priest or you need to find a job with the government. It's true.
I'm thinking about you as a priest.
Yeah. So, but listen, aviation starts since I was very young. The first memories that I have, very happy memories that I have, is my father taking me to the airport. That is Ex Libris in Madeira. Everybody takes their kids to the airport because we are very lucky to be able to see the aircrafts land and take off from various sides of the island. Closer, feel the engine. So I remember very much that. And I remember my mother screaming for her bedroom for me to stop making noises at night because I was playing with helicopters and aircrafts. So I wanted always to become a pilot, but something in between stuck me, and that was music. Struck me. That was music. And I listened to music, and I had people buy me all the records. I was, kind of very pushy for all my family, because it's a big family. In Madeira, normally it's not just father and mother and kids. It's father, mother, kids, and uncles and grandmothers and grandmother from father everywhere. So every week. So every days we go to these people's house and come back. And so I was asking everybody to buy me music, and I was listening to music a lot, and recording cassettes and all that things. And I think that was there that I wanted to be on the stage. I wanted to be the guys that were singing, not because I wanted to be the rock star, but I wanted to be the guys that were singing. So, and that took me into a position where I was always a leader. On my finalist high school, I was a leader on the finalist commission to do the parties. And then when I went to high school, I became the vice president of the student association. And together with our president at the time, we built the first radio in the school.
Wow.
Secondary radio, yeah. It's called Radio Intervenção. And I was practicing and doing, because I wanted to become a radio DJ or a DJ or whatever.
All of that was literally before any update on LinkedIn, because the first update that I have seen is the year that I was actually born. How did your family react to the fact that you
My
wanted
father
to become...
was a journalist, so amazing journalist. So listen, this was very old times, my friend. I remember before I was finished the first cycle of school. So I think it's the first 6 years. I had a Snoopy dog watch, and I put it 9:00 in the morning when I left, and I knew that by 18 I need to be home.
Okay.
There is no communication. It's a safe place. Madeira was a safe place and still is. So we kids, we go and we come back, and we know that before going night, we need to be back home. So that and no phone, just a line phone. Yes, I'm an old man. So that gives us a lot of...
You don't look old, and I'm not saying that as a compliment.
I'm just kidding. But for people to... I know that most of our listeners, and I hope, but most of our listeners are Generation Z, our students. So I didn't have that. So I was able to do a lot of stuff. And so when I arrived home and said, listen, I'm vice president of the student association, then I became president on the second term or something like that. It was normal for them. So then my father became connected, because his love for aviation took him to an editor in the economy, to a commons position management into an airline from Sterling Airways, Air Columbus. So he started to take us to the airport, me especially, more often. And while he was working, I was in the airport, priving with captains and all that thing. So it was very exciting. And then I was trying to push this radio thing to work. I didn't want to become a radio star. I wanted to do radio or to do a party. And I had my first party, I think I was 14 years old, that I was a DJ, something like that.
You were a DJ?
Yeah. So I put music at that time. So then I added radio to it. And then finally I landed in a radio job. Finally, in a real radio job.
So you created the radio in the school?
Yes. And after that, I landed in my radio job.
Great.
Yeah. So back then, no digital stuff, right? I started to invest in my first assets, recordings. At that time was mini disc, vinyls, a lot of vinyls and mini discs. The more assets you have, the more wealthy you are, right? Mm-hmm. And then
it's a library.
Yes, it's a library. And who's the guy? Frederico. At the time, Freddy. They called me Freddy. I was very young. So that happened, and one day, I don't know what was the reason, somebody told me, listen, there is something wrong with the DJ, and we already do radio, you that stuff. We want you to do a end of the year party. I said,
you were waiting for this moment.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know something. If something like this always comes, I always go. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, what's the worst thing that can happen?
I don't think. That's why I think that this stage thing was important to me as a personal reflection. So I always wanted. I didn't dare. I was daredevil. Let's go. Let's do it. And let's make it happen. And I went to my father and said, I'm going to do a party for this disc. And my father said, oh my God, this is, you're not even professional. These guys are.
How old were you then?
I was 16.
Yeah, I was so young.
16, yeah. And so I asked him, can you please go? Because my father was a very known person and speak with the big DJs, ask him to record me a tape or whatever so that they can listen to what they do and some music. So, and then I went to the best discos that we had and I learned what they are doing not in terms of music, but how they worked and what people expected. And the time was come and they said, okay, you're the guy. Let's do this, and this is in a casino. And I didn't have age to get into the casino.
16.
So they took me into the end, and I went to my CDs and everything. I started 10 o'clock in the evening, and that disco, the casino disco, and I went until 5 o'clock. The security guys, can you please shut up this thing? I want to go home, and everybody was partying so hard. It was very cool.
Any of your family was with you?
No.
You were alone?
Yeah. Most likely one of my girlfriends and my friends. My friends were always there. My friends are.
Was it the first time that you are staying until 5 in the morning?
Yeah. No. I used to get out. I used to get out a lot because we started 14, and because I never misbehaved.
They allowed you.
My parents always allowed me. Sometimes I stayed at home because my friends were punished. And I was not able to go with them. I would not go alone. I wanted to go with them. So I wasn't that disco before. It was the best disco of the time. And I was doing that party for the finalists. I really don't know why I did it. I can't remember, but I know it was not for merit because I never worked that. I never did that before. It was an opportunity that came and I said, why not? And everybody said, are you crazy? How can you go to...
How did you feel the first time that you stepped into the stage?
I feel the same way that I feel if I go again. The first 30 seconds, I'm dying. And then...
What kind of pressure is coming to you at that 30 seconds? Or let's say the first...
I'm very focused. I'm trying to wear my skin, that skin of entertainer, and feel myself that I'm confident to do that. So people please don't bother me. I need this... I don't show people that I'm nervous. I just go for it and I do it. And then a few days later, so the party was a success. And a few days later, I remember being at home and knock the door and I go to the small thing and I saw a guy that I knew that was a DJ in my home. See, all times, no phones, no nothing. And he knocks the door, say, oh, Frederico, I love the way that you work in the Baccarat and casino. I have a better job, but I don't want to leave the disco that I am. Do you mind doing a couple of days for me during the week? I said, okay. How much I will pay you? 60. It was 300 euros a month. 16 years old. 1990.
Is that your first paycheck?
Yeah. I said, I said to my father, 300 euros? This is so much for 2 days. And then I spent all that money in records. And everybody was killing me. Yeah. And then 1 year and a half later, I was invited to work at that casino disco when they do a big investment and I become a DJ there at 17 years old. And I stayed there almost 9 years until I had to leave the DJ position because meanwhile I was assuming other positions inside the hospitality group. This is where you see me first in
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Allow me to ask one thing before closing this chapter. Your first paycheck of 300 euros. How did your family gatherings changed? So you were the kid that maybe does the most noise, party, in the same time behaving, but no one looked at you as someone that can actually make money yet.
Yeah.
Because you haven't made. The minute that you start making, what was changing in your personality toward your family and the family gatherings?
That month was the last month that my father gave me money. And a few months later, I left home.
How was that look from your father changed?
I think he's not good with expressions, but at some point, it was sad because he was expecting other flights for me at the time. And he thought that, if you want to be a DJ, what is this, But then when he saw where I reached so far, so
The success.
so young, I think he was very proud, and especially I was the first one to leave home on the good terms. My mom just thought that I was going crazy. No, I was about to finish my 16 year of life when I rented an apartment next to the hotel area, and I went there to live alone. Not because I was tired of them, but because I needed my space and I needed my things. And since then, I never came back home. And the other day, I was discussing because my father fall into a scam of those, "Father, I need money," and I said, "Father," I said, "thank you for paying," and I compensate him because he fall on that scam. And I said, "But please don't. If 40 years later, almost, if I need money, just call me, because last time that you give money, he said it was laughing. I know. It was 16. You're right.
He got scammed now.
Yeah, I got scammed now.
A message from you to say
yes. Yeah. So I found it very cool because after so many years, and he didn't even think. He just sent the money. He thought that I needed to send the money, but he said, "Listen, Father, don't you know that?" Something was very wrong for me to ask you money. So please, next time call me to see. Oh, it was so convincing. I thought, saw your picture on WhatsApp. I sent the money. Okay. So I get the money back with great appreciation for him to doing that so fast after so many years, So it didn't change anything. It's just a natural thing. It was harder to my friends because I was the first one to start working. And I took the decision because I was doing some good money that I will not continue to university. So I didn't went. I was 16. I was finishing the 12th grade. So on my 12th grade year, I was having a paycheck around of 1,500 euros.
At that time.
At that time, it was unbelievable. And then it reached crazy numbers later.
Okay, so far, the island boy,
yes,
the family-oriented person, and the DJ for up to 9 years, as you mentioned, before leaving. Where is aviation in this?
Aviation will always there. Always passionate about airports. And then when I started to be a DJ, it was a wonderful ride of my life. But my goal was not to, been there, done that. At the same point, I wanted to be the best, but at the same point, I don't want to become a DJ for the rest of my life. I always have a plan B or a plan C, aviator mindset. I didn't know at the time. So at the time, I was very lucky because that disco that I landed on was operated by Pestana Group. That is an amazing hospitality group from Madeira. And that now has, at the time, they had 8-9 hotels. Now I have 120, 150, I don't know. So I was very lucky to land there. So my boss is there. My intermediary and higher bosses were all hotel managers, absolute capacity. And I said to them, "Listen, I want to do more than this." And some of them didn't understood me because at some point I was having the same paycheck as them. I said, "What the hell? No, I want to do more. I want to work more." So I started to do events with them, production of events, until the moment that I was doing everything. So it was very hard for me because I was working full day and full night. And then the last years, they couldn't let me go. They said, "Please just do me 2 nights a week," because I was working full day. I was wearing a suit, and at night I was being a DJ.
How did you manage? You finished DJ at 3 or 5 in the morning?
Yeah, we finished at 4. We started at 11 and we finished at 4 because I always needed to finish when the house was full and send everybody home against their will. Because this creates a brand. And so many times I remember closing and people calling my name, Freddy, thousands of people. Like, Freddy, it's closed, man. And that belonged to the game, to the gamification of people wanting more, and this is the best disco. So I learned so much. And with these people that I was able to, this was my university. So many things I learned with them in terms of management. And after that, the work that I had, I was very lucky to have great mentors that I could learn with on a proper way. And then it becomes the time that I had to leave. I had to leave because I needed to risk. And that is the probably besides my family, the thing that I'm most proud was to get to the moment that I said, it's done, it's over. And everybody said, listen, literally, I'm not humble. No, you cannot leave. No, you're the best here. You cannot leave. I said, no. In my head, I said I was ready to give the jump. I know that it was very hard to get that money because that was good money, but I needed to make the jump. And I always wanted to, it was a question of time for a better looking guy than me, technical better than me, that people loved more and cheaper than me to come up. And then I became kind of a legend because I just
Disappeared.
Yes.
At the prime.
Yes. 9 years later, I went there and said I'm leaving. I prepared them 1 year before, but they never believed me because I was winning well, and I was also having the same other jobs on the group. But it happened.
So hospitality
I was
and DJ
I'm
in the
very
night.
proud of that.
So I believe that this was around 24 to 26 years of.
This was in 2004. We're talking about 2004 now. 2004, 2005.
Okay. Again, I will still ask for the entry to aviation.
Yeah.
Because today
Yeah.
you are an octopus in aviation. Yeah. How did you reach there?
It reached. So, hospitality. I was flying a lot.
Yeah.
I was flying a lot. I always wanted something to do with aviation. And this story, I never. I think the main reason is connected with DJing. So, what happened is the first time that I say this publicly. I was working.
Is it the first time that you'll say this publicly?
Yes, publicly, yes.
Guys?
First time.
Yellow.
First time that I say this publicly. I avoid to tell because people think, oh, this guy, I don't talk to this too much because people think that, oh, you just push some things together and the story is great because the story is great. So I was working and I got some guys from the discos calling me many years later. Many years later, not many years, 6 years later. For me, it's 6 years.
It is many years. At that age, yeah.
6 years later, they calling me, Frederico, there is very special guys. You need to do a party because these guys are asking for you. I said, no, I'm retired so many years and I will never do it. And never do it. And one guy called me, another guy called me. And I still know everybody from the night because these people are gentlemen. They're amazing people. And even the DJs that I was my idols, some of them still work. And I still call them masters, and they called me, and so many people called me, said, who is this guy? And I said, it's Ronaldo. It's Ronaldo. But I think it was not Ronaldo because this guy doesn't go at night. It's very rare. So I never saw him in the disco. But the sisters, I did. And the mother.
Okay.
And the mother. And I was although I was working in casino, I had a very popular range. I was not hard music. I was not house techno. It was all around Latin and everything, all around rock. I navigated. The people loved it. I placed it. I always thought about my people, not about myself or the music that I like. And I think that the fact also that I said no, it became a problem. And I became like the guy that they need to go. And that went to extraordinary amounts of money for me to go and do the party. And at some point I said, I need to do it because this is really good money. It was crazy.
For one night.
For one night. Superstar.
After 6 years of stopping.
Yes.
Okay.
So I said, I'm doing. I don't mind. I'm doing it. And I received a list of musics that they wanted to hear because they loved it. But I was thinking, oh my God, and then the rest of the music because I'm out. I don't know. And these guys deserve a good party. They're good people. So, okay, I started to prepare, and then they said the location, they reserved the special hotel. At the time, Ronaldo was dating, because I need to tell this because it was the only person that didn't like me, was the girlfriend of Ronaldo.
Okay.
She was dating a Russian girl. I can't remember the name. I forgot. It's a model.
The one before Georgina.
No, before. I don't know. The Russian girl that is now also, she's very famous, Russian model. And of course, I was passing Latin music, very popular music. Every Portuguese was enjoying so much and everybody, but she was not having a good time at all. And for one time, she came to me and said, can you put some more R&B or hip hop and all those things? I put one and then I go back to the style. But went okay until 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, Ronaldo came.
Actually, Ronaldo came.
Yeah, of course, Ronaldo was there. Yeah,
okay.
Dancing and everything. At 5 o'clock, it took time as always because he's such a great human being to come. And we thought that he went to sleep, and he came to thank everybody for the party. We were taking it out, and I took a picture with them that day. And because I had extra money, I didn't know what to do. It was the first time that, besides the money that I was winning every month, and my family, because I had a daughter at the time, and I still have it. She's 22 now, and a family, and a house, and a car, and the business. I had a business also. Already had the business. I had extra cash, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this, PPL.
This was the start.
Yes.
An extra money that came out of nowhere in a party
Yes.
that was for the legend of Madeira,
Yes.
Ronaldo,
Yeah.
and PPL.
Yes.
How did you decide? How did it come to your head that I will do a PPL?
Because I always wanted to become a pilot. Not to become a career pilot, but I always wanted to
fly.
Yes. So the next Monday, I went to their local aero club. We fly a 50 years old Piper, and I started to fly. That's it. I have the classes, go through the 9 subjects, and started to fly. I never finished the course there, though, because of the aircraft. But and myself, I was losing trust on that aircraft because I started another business that still exists today, that is NewsAvia.com, that made me go and travel around the world and fly aircrafts, even without being fully licensed with the instructor or a test pilot. And I flew and I wrote down.
That's a good story. We'll get back to it. Take me back to your first flight in the old 50 years Piper.
Yeah, I tell all the students still today. I remember very well when my daughter was born. You know, first time that she saw the light of day, the first time that I hung her. The same thing with my son now. And the other thing that I remember well was the first takeoff that I took on that Piper. You know, I remember the color of my clothes, how the weather was, which runway I departed, what were the conversations, how did I push it, how did I saw it, how did I see the floor going down. I remember everything. So, and that was, man, I did it. I'm flying. So that was the.
But I believe if you learned in Madeira, you learned in the famous Cristiano Ronaldo airport.
Yes, yeah.
That's very famous for very high crosswind all the time.
Yeah.
How did you do?
No, these guys there, and still today, Madeira trains amazing pilots, especially if they start there, because they use a sentence that is all sentence. We don't use it. So hold on and don't cry.
What's that?
Hold on and don't cry.
Hold on and don't cry.
If something is inoperable, something is windy, hold on and don't cry. Hold on and don't cry. No, but we had, and some of my instructors, I was just arriving when one left and he's here now in Emirates for a long time, Orlando. He's also a legend there as an instructor. Felipe Menezes is also a legend. And then we had the captain from Timoteo Costa from SATA, that he's the world record for number of landings there. I think he's never went to go around in Madeira. He had the double engine injection after leaving the Madeira. So superstars. I only fly this guy with his ace. I only fly once, and his method of teaching is by conditioning, which is, we don't like it nowadays. But because he's such an ace guy, you know, this is the guy that if you look at him, he's looked like a picture, you know, ace with such a cool pilot, because he really was an amazing pilot. And I remember having a class with him after, and he passed the class, and he, conditioning me all the time for, you know, pushing me, being
under pressure all the time.
He opened the door when I was about to take off. He said, "I'm leaving. You're a fisherman. You're not a pilot." Yeah.
But hold on, don't cry.
Yeah. So we changed. So these guys are that they really. I didn't become a great pilot, of course. I'm not, mindset is not there, but or maybe I was really not to be a great pilot. I'm just a very safe pilot. If I fly, I'm the safest. I'm the chickens of the pilots of them all now. And I remember coming that runway and then landing up front, and they always, you know, killing me. What are you doing? I say, I've got the big runway. What are you doing? 5 knots up, because the wind is very, very aggressive. That was the first time that I felt the hand of God. Also, we call it the hand of God. It is a very quick descent. I have that video is on my YouTube, and thank God I had a great instructor. Today is a great captain called Captain Felipe Menezes. Besides, the aircraft is mine, because I was just going down and even didn't feel it. You know.
Your first videos in YouTube was the flying videos.
Yeah.
So you were a DJ.
I have one as a DJ, I believe. If you search well, I never took it out. I'm not. I see it as a good memory. I think I have one as a DJ.
But there. you have videos of you flying in Madeira itself.
and in Barcelona also.
Yeah, guys, you can check it out. You'll find what's the
I have
YouTube?
hair. I have hair.
Yeah, if you
It's,
didn't recognize him,
they,
it's the
they can
hair.
put Frederico Fernandez, Lima Papa, Mike Alpha, LPMEA.
Ah, see.
Yeah, and
After all of these years, you still remember the registration.
Yeah, of course.
So you'll find the YouTube video there, and you'll be able to see him flying. So at that time, filming even and putting the video out at the time, that
GoPro One.
maybe just the filming industry just started and the news just started. What brought up the idea of NewsAvia, and what does this name means to you?
So I was at the time shifting between jobs, and my father was having a hard time surviving constant reshapings of media. Media's
changed a lot.
Yes, and it's listen, even today is a bad business. If you want to make money, I mean,
your opinion?
Yeah, of course. And he was senior editor of this newspaper. He had his own newspaper also, and then he was struggling. You know, at some point they knew that there were come at a point where because the oldest ones started to go out, and eventually happened to him. It was one of the last ones holding the line, and then he went out. And he had this idea, and it was very proactive. And my sister was telling me, that he wants to do this, and this is cool. But he started to put news on Facebook. And I told him, listen, such a talent going out in Facebook and aviation. Facebook is gone. You know, if you put something in Facebook, it's gone, or Instagram, it's gone. I mean, you need to have something for the future if you need. So let's put a web-based version of this. Let's have a new brand. And they started to think about it. And once I needed to, I was flying to Angola for business, and somebody recognized me, and I went to the cockpit. And the guy was telling me, you know, he was having conversation, the captain, everything. And then at some point, I told him I'm going to go back. And because at some point he was going to call me to go back. So I also was tired, and I said, I'm going to go back. And I said, okay, so take this magazine with you, aviation magazine, Flyer. And but it was expensive at the time. I said, Captain, but this is, I will turn you back. No, stay with it. I canceled the signature. I said, you cancel the signature? I said, yeah, don't like to say, yeah, but you know, it cost me £49 a month. And I started to think, these guys don't want to pay for information. Such an educated person, captain, you know, for him it was already worthless to pay 49. This was in 2014. I said, oh my God. And then I came to my father. I said, listen, we're going to go for this. We're going to read this, but you're going to do it for free. So free access to everybody. And then we'll find a way to make this profitable. And we did. Not too much, but still is. And this is how it started. So I created the name. The name is mine, NewsAvia.com. And my father started to work, and we are working until now. It's since 2013. 14, the website. And still exists today. Still very respected, and I had a lot of fun with that because I was trying aircrafts and going everywhere. The last flight, the Boeing Lufthansa 737, so many things that I did at the time.
You started with Portuguese language, and why is that?
Because at the time, Portuguese language is sixth biggest spoken language in the world, and Brazil is big. Brazil, Angola, they are very big. Of course, they are big in size and population, but also big in industry.
The aviation industry.
Yeah. Brazil is a powerhouse, and the house of Embraer. It's a very amazing legacy. After America, that's the biggest general aviation market in the world. You go to Brazil, you feel aviation everywhere. They love aviation. Also, Angola is the same problem as a country that is massive, but they don't have infrastructure. So they depend a lot on aviation. And I thought that let me start with this. And then, because already others was doing very well English online. So let me start with this. And it was a success and still is. Because I think we are very reliable. We speak in aviation a reliable language. We are fair. We don't clickbait. It costs us a lot sometimes because we want to do clickbaits, but we don't. We don't have publicity in our pages still today. No Google ads, no nothing. And we have our contracts with our brands, and we do serious stuff. We can do more, maybe. I don't have time. But that was the thing that took me here to Dubai.
I'll come back to
Yeah.
to the transition. But I want to understand one thing. You built your personality from the beginning of this episode. Someone that need to be doing the things by themselves. All right. So we come back to the fact that you have started as an island boy, self motivated, a DJ, a PPL, and then you are still in hospitality at that time, but working on NewsAvia.
No, I'm still in hospitality. This was my first time that I worked for a family group, a family
Business.
office. Yes. So after the hospitality, I left to this family group that I knew one of the daughters to start a project there with them, which I did at the same time I was building NewsAvia.
When was the transition that you left completely the hospitality and you went to aviation? And what was the challenges for someone that is maybe not deep into the aviation, especially that you are talking about news? Your father is definitely an amazing journalist, but you didn't really have that much of
No. Yeah.
knowledge when it comes to
Yeah.
aviation. When did it come that you are coming to a meeting or sitting with CEOs just to understand the news and you understood nothing of what they said?
I never did because I was such a geek for aviation.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when I started to take up those subjects, it went more on a commercial level. I was trying to sell them something for NewsAvia. Yeah. But I was very aware of aviation because I read a lot. I was always on top. I knew what was a Boeing 727 since I am, I don't know, 6 years old, 7 years old. So I knew. That was not the biggest transition when I finished with this family group 4 years and a half later of being working with them, and it was a time to make any decision. Either continue with them, which wasn't an option. I wanted to jump. They are wonderful, and I always joke with them. Someday I'm going to work with them again, and we have always learned a lot there. Unbelievable. But I wanted to do something completely related with the aviation, and this is where I put the 2 years old NewsAvia to work. And I had these conversations with some members of the government, a semi-government company, where they wanted to promote the Portuguese ecosystem into the Portuguese-speaking countries. Because although we speak the same language and it's easier to make business with a person that speaks the same language, 900% they say, and 900% more chances on the joking level, Because if you speak the same language, it's many times more possible for you to make business with somebody because you gain trust very fast.
Correct.
But unfortunately, at the time, and today it's getting much better because there's other players, also semi-government entities that continue the job in Portugal, and the Portuguese government that's much better. But at the time, the Cape Verde guys will send people to study for Germany and France. They will never send to Portugal.
And why is that?
I think that has to do with our decolonization process. I don't know. Maybe we were. I don't know. I don't understand really why. I mean, I think I do. We Portuguese are amazing people. We are not. We don't have a nose for business, and these kind of things would take a lot of time to do it. Like the Commonwealth, the British Commonwealth, or the French Commonwealth, great job they did in maintaining going out of that hard situation that was a colonizer to a fair situation that is a friend country. So I think that this friend country with economic trade, we didn't do it well. It's my opinion. I don't base it. It's an anecdotic opinion, but I think it's more or less like this. And we don't have good relationships with industry on this country. So for 1 year and a half, using NewsAvia and this semi-government authority, the Comissão Executiva for the Portuguese Commonwealth, we did a lot of work and incentivized a lot of investment in Portugal at the highest level. That was...
And where was the shift that got you to the Middle East? You mentioned that it was easier for you to speak Portuguese and get business, and there was a mission, semi-government mission. The UAE doesn't speak Portuguese.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking if I should tell this also. But the story is, I came here because of a girlfriend.
Because of a girl?
Yeah, yes. I don't say this on a very pejorative because absolutely amazing woman. Portuguese. I came here to. to see if it's going to work or not, because she was here. But I went to Dubai Airshow and I met somebody from GCA there, and that changed. And they asked me, "So what are you doing? What were you doing?" Because I was receiving something and from Boeing, and he said, "Oh, what I said to you. I had this. I'm doing this for this community, and I'm here for some time now." And he said, "So can you go and present this to us next day? More likely like this."
Which year of Dubai Air Show was that?
2016 or 17?
Okay.
Maybe 16. It's one of those years. One of those years. I think it was 16. No, 17. Sure, 17.
So you just were walking in Dubai Air Show as a NewsAvia guy,
Yeah.
and you came to see someone and
Yes.
said, "Why not?" And then it was just a conversation with GCA
Yes.
that landed you something,
Yes.
which is a presentation.
Yes. Of course, it was not as easy as that. This is a cool story. It is a passionable and cool story, but it was literally like that. And then I just I needed to wait because I needed to speak with the local Emirati company that is still a powerhouse in events here that was supposed to do this program with the GCA, and this guy just indicated to them. I went to speak with them, and we presented the project together. We work a lot, and then we went to present it. I think it was maybe October 2017. We went to the 46th floor and Emirates Towers to present my vision of what should be because GCA had and still has this amazing awareness of. They don't regulate also, but if they can, they help to promote things. And there was a worry at the time that aviation was not capturing enough investment and not innovation also. So now we're supposed to change that. This is one of the many projects that GCA has. So very active, as you know, you work with them. They're very active. So they are not just only that great institution that we have in Europe that they just do things. So they wanted to do that, and they approved that, and I spent 2.5, 3 years, marvelous years with there, and promoting their global investment aviation platform, helping Interlac, also being a mentor for Interlac. I listened to 600 pitches every year from new companies, and I went to speak with local investors because here people, I think at the time, the importance of industry was growing very fast, but local investors only wanted to invest in the normal things, either as hospitality, energy, real estate, hospitality, most likely restoration, F&B. Coming in to speak with aviation, it was not fancy, it's not cool because people think, it's just to lose money. And at the time, only the big driver was Emirates Group and everybody around it. But nowadays, it's much more democratized. And this work done by GCA and others and the Ministry of Economy here was extremely important to change that. I'm glad that I could participate a little bit on that.
Okay. How was the experience of a Portuguese in the Middle East? You found out that there are similarities, as you mentioned, but what was the difficulties?
None. I was shocked what was being done here in terms of leadership was absolutely amazing. I was crushed. This was the honest word, crushed. So these guys are amazing. I remember the first trips that I went back to Portugal, that people were criticizing me, because I was always telling so good things about this and how the things work. People don't understand, without coming here. It was a little bit. I think there was only two shocks. The first shock is the expectation level. It's very high, but as I told you since the beginning, I want to go there. I will go. Let's go. Let's do it. It was very high, and then to learn the vision of this nation and to try to apply it in my daily work, which is also very hard. It's not hard, but it's all the time, because we need to create something bigger, better, and be up to the expectation, especially because when we work on this with government here, the expectation is very high. And you need to, and they say it to you, but I love it. This is the path, this is the way, this is where we want to go. Do you understand? I do understand. This is forward, and absolutely amazing. I remember going to the Sheikh Zayed Center, Space Center, and This is. I remember being in a meeting on the 46th floor in the Mid Towers, and I already had a little bit of at will with some of the people that were there, and I said, "Can you guys please call Ines and say we are going to Portugal to see if we can fix some things there and come back?" I was telling them joking, because the level it's. In Portugal, we change our vision every 3 years, 4 years. I mean, it's a mess. And here was so. I feel very it was very good. Again, I was very lucky to be in these positions. I've been in ICAO with GCA. I've been so many things I did, and I was very lucky to drink that leadership skills. You see, nothing comes easy. It comes with learning, being open to it, and it was a marvelous experience. With them, it loved me a lot, and I think that I also was able to help them for sure and give them some value.
I'm sure that you were ready at that time with NewsAvia, with the motive that you are having, and with all the knowledge, and you are basically self-driven to take an opportunity, even if you are not 100% prepared for it yet. But all of that started with a coincidence in the UAE, and I believe the same thing went as well with FlyIAA. Tell me about that coincidence.
Yeah, it was. I met a brother for life. That came in again on Dubai Airshow. In
Okay.
Dubai Airshow. So Dubai Airshow is the center of the world. I remember the first time that I came to Dubai Airshow was, I don't know. In Europe, it was considered the fourth, fifth show in the world. Nowadays, nobody can stop this. No. Farnborough is far gone. I'm sorry if people in Europe listen to this. Farnborough is far. It's only Paris Airshow and Dubai Airshow, the top leaders in the world, and so it's normal that things happen in Dubai Airshow. Not because I have a thing with Dubai Airshow. It's very normal because it's an amazing platform for business, the best in the world in aviation sector. And Wissam was. It was not Wissam. It was one of his PAs was trying to reach me, and at the time I'm still working a lot with innovation, sometimes investing my time and money on that, and I was thinking that I needed something, I call it not something innovative, but something more normal, standardized legacy. I call it legacy business. I was looking to get into a legacy business because the risk of innovation and aviation is so big, and we work so hard, and some of the times it goes busted. And I was working in innovation all the time since I started this journey here. And I went to meet with Sam thinking that I was going to be pitched something in terms of innovation. And it was, but at the same time was the most amazing legacy project that I ever. So meaning that is not something that is completely out of the box, because it's about giving pilots the best job of their life, but already exists, all right? And I sit down with them. I didn't know, but I was being interviewed because he's already interviewed so many other people. I didn't know it. Later he told me the story, but I was there listening to his pitch.
Take me through that in details.
So he spoke a lot of things, but the first thing that I remember as he's speaking is, listen, I want to create the best training aviation school in the world. And I liked the moonshot. Immediately I was, what? So you have the courage to tell me something like this? I love it. I love it. This is amazing. And then he started I said, tell me more. And he started to tell the experience that he already had. He became a pilot at the family office that made him become a pilot and responsible for the business and all those things. And every question that I had, he had the right answer to it. And I said, listen, let's go. I'm ready. And he told me, I know what you did before. I know that you always generate value. I want you to be on this journey with me. And I said, I'm in. Let's go. I knew that I was able to help them go and do this dream. And so many times, a few years later, we are where we are, and it will continue. Of course, under his leadership and vision, it's unbelievable. And I got a friend, also a brother, an honest brother, a new family, because their family office is people that are very smart, very talented, very human. So the brothers, and so I just I was very fortunate again.
So out of that meeting that you were interviewed without you knowing, what was the next step into building the best academy in the world?
Oh, we had a lot of conversations after that. We have a lot of papers changing between each other. We didn't diverge and almost nothing because his vision was for me was the right one. He was even adding some things that I was not even thinking about it, and he had it. He knows very well where he's going. He knows very well where he's going, and he wanted somebody that could back him up and trustful enough and back him up in some areas. And also we wanted somebody with expertise that will be able to tell him, listen, maybe this is not the way, which sometimes I do, because most of the times he's right. So it's very few times, but I do. But we always have this amazing agreement, even which I understand also, and I love so much, is that we have this sometimes this very small, it's not arguments. We have different opinions, and
But it's
whatever
very healthy.
yeah, incredibly healthy. And then whatever is chosen the path, even it's full forward, because as I said, he didn't arrive here by chance. Also, he's very young. He is very young, but he didn't arrive here by chance. So the path that he's putting ahead is a path that I'm honored to follow, and to help him make it. If you put a block of cement there, I will turn that into gold, and you put another one, I will go there and turn it to gold. And we have this very good way of working together, and very trust in each other. And I trust him, and I follow him.
Perfect. Started from Lebanon, and then you guys decided that you opened the UAE. You definitely had a lot of experience when it comes to the UAE marketplace and everything else. And we will not go into what were the challenges there and everything else, because none of you will say any challenges about the UAE. Okay,
There is a lot of challenge.
If you tell me challenges, I will love this, because Wissam told me all the good stuff, but I didn't hear any challenges, and I wanted the conversation to be human, because all of this will be inspirational for the people, because they think that everything is easy, which is not. And the first time that they are facing any turn, they stop. And I believe that at the end, all the things that you have done in the UAE so far, being the headquarter, meeting the board, building all of this, was because of the way that you are driven, and because of the vision of Wissam. But give me some of the challenges and how you guys overcome it.
The biggest challenge is obvious. It's in front of everybody. Is the size of the market. So, and is the demand of the market. Although everybody here is very welcoming, culturally, and also as a vision. It's a big country. It's a big country with a lot of players, good people, smart people, intelligent people. I'm not even talking about the nationals. I'm talking about so many amazing brains that are here. So everywhere corner that you go, there is competitiveness. It's unbelievable. They created here a beautiful, almost perfect civilization. So that brings challenges. Although we know that there is a pro movement for make it happen. I like this, and we know that the market was here. Because this is the center of the world for the aviation. It's my opinion, but I think it is. We understood that the people of aviation are also here because they are also they are paid, and people that want good paid in aviation. But this brings complexity. How are we going to do it? How are we going to structure the investors that come to speak with us? Are people that there? We need to think.
You are always in check.
Yes, always. And even I think I heard the other day. I cannot say who, but I heard another president of one of the civil aviation authorities saying that UAE is the best authority in the world, and I believe so.
Why is that? You have been in with them as well, but why do you think that?
For example, I noticed a transformation in other civil aviation authorities in Europe. With the more commercial look, more. I'm not talking about safety and regulation because I don't understand anything of that. I'm just understanding about business development, innovation. Of course, all civil aviation authorities are absolutely amazing there. That's why we have such a safe aviation. But also on the business development side, the vision, the strategy that they use to get there, the way that they connect with each other, the relationship that they have between each other. As I heard another president saying that he is the best, and I was not so surprised. So working with this kind of level of people is challenging. It's challenging because you need to do things correct. You need to do not only correct, but far and beyond. far and beyond. So this is one of the challenges, and also the local authorities where we wanted to implement this. So I mean, we need to show there and show ourselves there, and also present what we want to do, and sell to them. And they need to believe what we are doing, and we need to report, and need to start doing it. This is what we started to do, doing it immediately, and making things happen. And so this was, and of course the competition, I think, is also a big challenge here. Then it came the normal challenges, that is operational challenge. I think we went very well on that. And then we had the situation now that also we went very well. And with the situation, we also say, man, we need to stay here and invest even more, because this is the place. Although we are not flying actually here, but we took a lot of students to Cyprus to do so. Others are staying here waiting for us to start to fly. Hopefully will be very soon. So we really are convinced that UAE is an absolutely amazing base, because it gives us the capacity, the ecosystem, but it always gives us the demand, the high expectations. There is no low expectations in thank God.
Okay,
that is the challenge, and so many operational challenges that comes with that.
I believe that with all those challenges that you have mentioned, and with the previous expertise as well, a human and a person need to wear different hats. How many hats do you have?
I always have the same hat, but I behave differently. I'm the same person, but I behave differently. At that time when I was a DJ and a manager at the same time, and as I became a better and better manager with more and more responsibilities, it was very hard. It was literally taking a suit to put something cool and young and go and make 700 people have fun, even if I wasn't having fun. So, and I remember at the time, the mother of my daughter speaking with me, and I said, please don't speak with me. I'm in a transition mode. I was trying to disconnect everything that I had during the day and all the problems on the several venues of the hotel to become the person that will make all those people happy. So it's a little bit like that. I'm always the same person, but I use different positionings for different problems that we have in live. In for now, we have a very good business and training academies, but we also have innovation in our group with that is KTR and FlyIAA. So I need to take another hat, because I cannot look at that as a normal project. I need to look at that
exactly. That's why I asked you the question, because you have multiple hats.
Yeah.
Maybe the viewers are not really watching, but the first time that I met Frederico was in the UAE, and it was in Ras Al Khaimah. And allow me to say this, and again, I told you at the beginning of this podcast, I'm not meeting him as my boss. I'm meeting him as a person today. And I don't think that this is a big difference, because he's still the same person, even when it comes to the job. But I met him in Arab Aviation Summit, Ras Al Khaimah. And I saw the guy, and I was saying, okay, maybe this guy is one of the organizers. Okay. Yeah. And why I said this, because of how humble he is. And only after I worked with him, I knew that he was the founder of Arab Aviation Summit. And that's why I'm asking you, how many hats do you have? Events is one hat, and it has a different way, because you are from hospitality. Now I could understand.
Yeah.
Okay. It makes it easier. But FlyIAA, aviator, KITA or KIT.
Yeah, KTR, yeah.
And then Arab Aviation Summit.
Yeah, FlyIAA. Yeah.
FlyIAA. NewsAvia. And then you have one more, which is the Europe Aviation Summit.
Yeah.
And then Waze.
Yeah.
I'm not even recalling anymore. How many hats do you have?
So events is a natural thing.
Because of hospitality.
Yes. And I feel that, and one of the ways when I had this project here is that we had a small team of business development globally. And then at the end of this year of activities under the umbrella of, at the time, GCAA, we had a big event here that gathered everybody. In aviation, we don't have time for anything. We are always studying, recurring training, education, and all that stuff. CEOs of aviation doesn't appear in magazines often. They don't care. But I feel that there is a need for us to meet and talk. And also there is a need for managers and important people in aviation to do so. This doesn't happen very often because it's not like a big industry. People can do a lot of money. So my events were very small events, but was very good in terms of content and people. And I think
But
that
not very small.
yeah, listen, the average size. But I wanted to bring a place, an ecosystem where CEOs, managers, and all these people could speak and talk about what they do on yearly basis, and talk about the future, talk about expectations, and discuss problems. The other day I was discussing with Sam. We were telling that we need to do something. We don't do this as a profitable thing. We do this as we want to gather leaders and make them speak more, because this is missing. Not to push sales, but to push contacts, and I think it's good. And nowadays, with the digitalization that we are seeing, I think is even more crucial for us to have a place where we don't feel that somebody is trying to sell you, but somebody is trying to welcome you to a stage where you can speak with others and you feel good. And the last one was in Saudi that I did. We should start doing something now very soon. Hopefully, I miss it. I don't know if others miss it, but I miss being in a place where this is the guy. And even if I don't have a reason to make business with them, I don't care. So just tell him, "Oh, good. Oh, I heard about you, and this is amazing, and what you did, and how do you do it?" Because I remember I had somebody that I knew in the family that he went to Venezuela, and he was very successful, very successful. And sometimes he showed up in family parties. And I always asked him when I was young, so how did he do it? And he was a self-made man, not very educated. I mean, I hardly know how to write when hard times in Madeira many years ago, many generations ago. And I remember one day he was really feeling, every time that I see this guy, he starts to ask me, what is the secret? And one day he told me, "Oh, son," because it wasn't my father, but it's a Portuguese name. "Oh, son, I don't know. I just opened the door of the bakery and people start to fall in." And he gave me one of the first my mentorship. Now go to a place when there is a lot of customers.
Okay.
Yeah. So he wanted to tell me that. So and I think that in aviation and this initiative that you're doing, I hope that you can do more, and not only us but everybody. I don't want to hear the commercial side of it. I don't want to hear the comms communication of a big industry telling me what the guy needs to tell. I want to see him with us, and he can tell me, "This is what I did," or "This is what we did less good," and this is how aviation also can go, especially on this time where we're having very conditioned ecosystems, capacities of flying, and everything. Everything is conditioned by this geographic situation at the moment, but these people are performing so well. Amazing. And nobody sat down yet to talk. So how did you do it? And
Just the human part of it.
Yes, and how what lessons have you learned now, and you're carrying on further? Because I mean, these countries here behave very well in the aviation sectors, and they keep the world is in a deep crisis because aviation stood up, and everyone here is together an ecosystem working amazingly, and everything is working amazingly. So I hope that I have the time together with Sam now and everybody involved to bring a small stage for selected people, and we can bring again conversations on that, saying how did you do it, what are you going to do next, what have you learned, and what is the next projects, and also to bring innovation in because it's important.
Okay. I had a different question, which is very similar to the one that you are having. And I would love for you to think about it before the answer, which is, what does it take to be you today, managing 9 companies, being a father,
being in love of what I do. This is what drives me. I have an exciting project ahead. I am living on the best place in the world in terms of aviation sector, and also any others. But I have a kid here, so it needs to be a very good place. It is an amazing place. So I have everything in my ecosystem that keeps me motivated to thrive. I got so many projects to do. And even today, I was looking for a project that I think I'm going to start doing it when I'm 65. I was taking notes. And the first guy will know it will be with Sam, of course. But we will make this happen. So it's an amazing ecosystem. And it's I think that the best is yet to come. I don't have a profound answer to that. The answer is that I really like what I do. I'm very privileged. I know that I'm very privileged. I hope that I can be very privileged for a lot of years. Um, I'm not filthy rich, but I'm very privileged, and I do what I like, and that creates the momentum that we need to take off
I believe that you are
every day.
rich. Um,
Yeah, on that other term, 100% billionaire,
okay. With
trillionaire.
life,
Yeah. I was seeing the other day saying, "Oh, Elon Musk is a trillionaire." Cool. And I was thinking to myself, in my personal life, I'm a gazillionaire. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I believe that the family-oriented person that you are, the way that you are, but people will not know your age. Although we spoke about your experiences from a long time ago, but they will not really know the age because of the way that you're interacting. I have told you already before this podcast something, and I want to tell it as well to the viewers. At any given moment of the day, you will not know if he is having a difficult time or not. He is very approachable all the time as a person, and I believe that this is difficult. I'm an instructor, and I'm the head of student experience, and sometimes I have my moments. Like I cannot interact exactly the same way with some students, and I find it very difficult. But whenever I come back to the office and I find that this man is very approachable all the time, and I was always asking myself why. I believe we understood today because of the hospitality, because of all the things. Allow me to ask one more question, and then we go ahead with it. The first thing that you are waking up in the morning, what goes into your head?
That's a good question. What goes in my head? I'm trying to be the most accurate possible.
I don't want you to be politically correct. I want you to be human.
I think that has to do with my personal challenges. That has to do. I don't sleep very well. That has to do with the normal, the way it is. We all have our human challenges. I would say mind challenges, something like that. So because I was since very young, I started to do a very high speed. I had when I had my first mental issues. They're not mental issues. We are overperforming. So I remember waking up in the middle of the sleep and calling my uncle, say, I'm waking up, I'm dying. And my uncle said, "You can't. How can you be dying? You're 22 or 23. You cannot be dying. That is something that's happening." He's a doctor. And then the situation came, and then the mother of my daughter was telling me, you wake up, sometimes I feel that I'm very scared when you wake up. And I said, no, I know. I wake up sometimes feeling that I'm having a heart attack. And then from that stage to 24, discovering that I have anxiety attacks since very young because I had so much responsibilities. And I had to manage it. I looked for mentors, not doctors at the time. I looked for mentors and they told me, listen, this is your issue and this is what you need to do. After that, I always look another mentor on that when I was very young. And then I started to understand that these problems will always be there because of the life that I have and because of my personality. I don't go to people and say, listen, I'm having problems. And I'm a problem solver. I don't, and you need to be aware of that. Once you are aware of that, there are some things in life that will not be roses all the time. For me, sleep. And I managed to put that on the right perspective and not thinking that this is something that should evolve into bigger things, mental issues. Never. So I always think when I wake up, did I rest enough? Did I was able to rest enough? And that's it. But that's the honest question. So when I wake up, I think, did I rest enough? And sometimes there is some anxiety thinking, will I be able, if I didn't rest enough today, will I be able to rest enough next night? And I try not to think about that because I go into that when we open the box of the anxiety, and I stop doing that. I don't have any, and the help on that is just mindset. Mindset is very important. So, but I'm very lucky because I do what I love. A lot of people have anxiety and problems because they are so overwhelmed with problems, things to solve. Because I don't know if I tell you this, but for example, Louise, head of operations, And he comes to me and said, "Oh, I need to speak with you. We have an issue." I said, "Is there a problem?" I said, "Cool, because we are here to solve that. Because if we not have problems and bottlenecks in our company, operation-wise, we don't have a paycheck." I said, "Halas, you can go home. This is marvelous. This is paradise." So, I have a cool story. Do we have time? Can I tell a cool story?
You
One
have
of
all
my
the
mentors.
time. You have all the time.
One of my mentors in hospitality. The other day I told this story. I can't remember. Many years I didn't remember of the story. I had this great mentor in hospitality. He's the guy that helped me transition from DZ to management, and he was there all the time, helping me. And we were traveling in an aircraft, and we had an emergency in the aircraft over water.
Ditching.
No, we didn't ditch.
Okay.
It was a commercial aircraft, and he told us to wear the life jackets, commercial jet. And I was thinking, me understanding aviation a lot, and I was thinking, oh my God, in the middle of the Atlantic, what are the chances and everything? And then I see my director at the time, he was looking at the window, and I said, "What are you looking for?" He said, "No, I'm checking, maybe there is a place for him to, if not as a runway, to land." So he was already looking for a solution. It was automatic in his brain. And I said, man, he was not suffering half of what I was suffering, because even though he was not the pilot and he was back then with me in economic class, he was looking already for a solution. His mindset was brilliant, and he always like this. So, and that is a little bit what we get in hospitality, is that it doesn't matter the problems that you have. You cannot be a chicken without a head. Say, okay, cool, let's solve this. Let's go forward. I always remember this story. See, and then at the end it was a false alarm, but he had to do the procedures.
The whole procedures,
yes. Yeah. It was a false alarm. I never knew what it was, but I imagined it was something on the engine, an hydraulic, two hydraulic systems failure or something like that. So we are problem solvers, and glad that we have these problems to solve, because this gives us also a career, not satisfaction, personal satisfaction that we need to solve, and this should not become a problem. So that is the cool story that I wanted to talk. Problem solving is the best thing that we can do, because we are here to do that also, part of life.
Allow me to end with this, which is the kid that was 14, 16 years old, DJ, that went all the way to the Middle East after a long journey, is going back now to Portugal with FlyIAA. Is that personal or business?
That's purely business. Because if it was personal, it was going to be in my island.
Okay, so tell me more about FlyIAA Portugal.
I think Portugal, to be honest, Portugal and Spain are amazing to fly. It's all about performance. We do things differently. And with FlyIAA, that's one of the reasons why I was so in love with the vision of with Sam and all the work that we are doing every day. We are different. So we don't do top down, we do top up. So the pyramid is completely inverted. We do things normal, but we do things very performantly. And everything that we choose and reflect on what we are choosing. Is this the image that we are going to give? Are we taking care of our students? I always say to the team, students are always the most important thing that we have. You drinks the same thing. And Portugal and Spain are one of the best places to fly in terms of our availability. But to be honest, Spain has an issue. And it's curious, because Sam before was thinking about Spain more, and I was saying, but Spain has an issue that they are bigger, they have more control under the airports, and they're more controlling on the airport. So our kind of business is not a cool business. You don't bring us money, There's a couple of places in Portugal where this business is king, and take that in consideration. We can fly a lot there, with all the conditions that we need, managed by people that are creating the best clusters in Europe. These people that are owning this place, mayors, population, team, they live and breathe aviation. And they are completely disruptive, innovative. There are great things there. So it's a great choice. And we tried to get that place, and we did it. And Portugal is there for us to fly a lot, and to bring a lot of students from Middle East. We are not going there to thinking about the European market. We are going there because we can fly a lot. It's a friendly place to take people, very safe place. And Portugal resonates in the head of a lot of people, especially Arabic and Asian, as a good place. And they tell me personally when I see sometimes, oh, you're from Portugal. And I hope now with this World Cup we can be even better,
Yeah.
better position. But I think those, you see, a little bit of hospitality together with performance, it's the best way. So Portugal is a base that we're gonna fly a lot and a good place to take our multinationality students there to fly. If they cannot fly here or if they want to do something else, because here also it will become a time that we cannot do more than X amount of pilots a year. Of course, every country is like that, and Portugal is one of them. And we believe that we can train, and this is what matters: fast and amazing pilots there.
I love that. We have different levels of viewers. We have C-level positions. I had a message the other day, someone purely random telling me, I love the podcast. I was like, that's very weird. I met the guy in Brussels, and then just randomly to message me about the podcast. That means we have different viewers and different ages. Give me an advice for each category of that.
For our viewers that are taking into consideration our podcast, they will be leaders of, for sure, managers. Most of them in the University of Aviation. I hope that they can take this platform that you are helping them to discover other people without the commercial
Side
thing. Taking, because it's very interesting. The more that you go in life, the more you start to listen to others. I was very lucky. I don't know why that I started to take that in consideration very early. Listen to mentors. Hamdi Osman is absolutely. Every time that I'm with them, as somebody put, I can't speak. I don't even speak. I just listen to him, because a man at that age to become an entrepreneur at that level or that risk, it's absolutely amazing. And the way that he flows, navigates into that with that smile and doing things professionally, it's absolutely amazing. So we find ourselves. I read more autobiography books than I read other normal books these days, and there is a reason for that. So, and this podcast will help those people to you're not alone. We are facing the same issues, the same problems, the same challenges. And sometimes there is a hint here or there, a hack that we can listen, because still today I learned with some of the other people, doesn't matter the level of education. So these people, managers, C-levels that are listening to this, they will say, oh, this guy's, he also doesn't sleep. Cool. So, you was a DJ, I was a guy on my local band or whatever, because we are not this kind of people that live in the glass dome. So we are normal human beings, as you said, and you try to take out of it in these sessions. And you saw that with Sam. Sam was an amazing interview also, by the way. I was very jealous. I was thinking, oh my God, can you do something so cool as that? So hopefully it will be cool. So this is what they will take from these interviews, these exposures, right? And the young kids, they will hopefully look at us and see what we are doing, and be happy to belong to this family that is FlyIAA. It is an amazing family. We care about them a lot, and they will listen to that a lot because we keep telling. I learned that with Sam. Everybody learns with me. And we do worry, we care, and we want to bring them the best things possible. And they will see that what is behind aviation is very particular. And there is a lot of airmanship in aviation that comes, people don't know why, but comes for the fact that we fly everything. We are in the air, and we respect. I think that every aviator admires each other. Once upon a time, there were aviators that they thought that there were aces, but those guys are disappearing a lot. So I can see now aviators, they look at each other, they just admire each other. It doesn't matter if you have 1 hour, 2 hours flight or you've flown, So this is good. They will learn that. They will learn what is behind. Hopefully you will bring here people that are much more interesting than me in terms of operation and everything.
I honestly enjoyed it. I didn't
And
want the
people will
commercial
say,
side.
this is what you do in the background, and all. We have an amazing team. We are so lucky in FlyIAA. We are an amazing team. People so competent. Sometimes they come to speak with me and they are talking about their subject that I do understand and need to be on top of it, but they melt my brain. Such knowledge and such. Sometimes I want to. How did you do that? Because it was amazing. And the problems that we have, because it makes part of it. We have challenges. So So this is the both levels what they're gonna learn, and I hope that they cherish this for a long time, so that everybody can have the chance to come to this stage, their stage, and tell their story.
Thank you so much, Frederico. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
I believe it's a very interesting story.
Very cool.
And each one of the board and the team, as indeedly you mentioned, are intelligence by themselves in their own way, and they have human stories behind them that builds more connection. And we want in this stage to just get it to them. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
If you have any questions for Frederico, please write it down in the comments and tell us what you think. I will allow him to mention who should we have next from our board members.
I would say either Muhammad Adid or Hamdi Osman. Absolutely amazing stories that needs to be told, and I will be on the other side listening to a podcast at least 2 or 3 times.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Until that time, you were on FlyIAA. Thank you so much. Enjoy your time.
Thank you.